We acknowledge the Arapaho, Ute, and Cheyenne tribes as the traditional custodians on the land on which the Police Oversight Panel and the Boulder Police Department operate, and pay our respects to their elders, past and present. We also like to welcome members of the public and the press to our meeting. This meeting is our first in-person meeting for 2024. So if you are watching the recording, we'll try to do this every other month, I believe. So join us down here at State Building. Thank you everyone for the panel for being here. Those online, welcome you as well. And also we have the Q&A function, so members of the public will answer some questions, but if you have bigger things, please save those in the end. And Selena, we'll be able to monitor the Q&A. We also have our website if you want to submit complaints or just contact the panel outside of these meetings. Our address is bouldercolorado.gov/services/police-oversight, and our panel email is policeoversightpanel, all one word, at bouldercolorado.gov. Also a reminder, you can find these meetings and all previous meetings on our city website. And now we're going to start with the agenda. Do you want to share the agenda or just flip through?
Okay, so first on the agenda, we'll be approving our January minutes. Can I have any motion? Do you have any objections to the minutes as? Okay, perfect. Motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
A second. Perfect, thank you. Awesome, and committee updates next.
Sorry, I need to abstain because I wasn't present. So
Oh,
just
wait,
for
wait.
the record. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We'll take a motion, just to.
Yes. Yeah, okay, so let's take a vote to approve, please. I see Chico, I see AB, okay, perfect. Meeting minutes approved for January. All right, so now committee updates. What's communications?
Sure. I'll start, like my notes, so, Ellen and I, had our first community meeting with the licensing, actually, and James, Judy Lansman, and, Aaron McConnor. Last week, and we had a long meeting. It was pretty long. We broached a lot of topics. We were there mostly to listen to them and to see what their concerns were and what they, expect to do and all that. So going through my notes, let me see, sorry. Yeah, they really feel like, the fact that we're getting trainings with the police is good, but we really need to counterbalance that with talking to people who are the most impacted by police. And so it's great, I don't think they really care whether we train with the police or not. Really, they would rather not, so that we can stay neutral. But if we are going to train with the police, then we need to make sure that we all interact with police members who so I think that is a good point. They were adamantly opposed to Stephen Redfern being the next chief of police. I think they already knew that, but they really expressed how, that can be dangerous for the community of colors in this city, because of the background, the APD, not only the APD, but also, Stephen Redford was involved in a number of cases that were, questionable. And so they're really, really opposed to, continuing that process of him potentially being the next chief. They would like to see, more data on the use of force, the average of use of force, of the number of police on duty. They want to have the potential of having individualized data of police officers who might be involved in more cases than others or more complaints than others. And that can be, those individualized data can be anonymized, but eventually it would have to go back to, the police officer if anyone has more issue or more complaints and more issues of behavior or misconduct than others. So really I need for more data. Yeah, they want us to build relationship with community, but if it is to work with police, then they're not interested and will be very local. So really, really oriented towards community. Yeah, there's a recent Aurora City Council independent report about APD. There's also some articles in Westwards that they really recommend us to read and really do our research about what happened in Aurora, considering that Redford was there for 20 years or so, starting and being part of that culture. And also they want us to meet with the Latinx community and other groups around Boulder to know about what they think, about how they feel about Redford as well. And they asked us to report back on that. And they asked for a community liaison. I don't know if that's our role or if that would be a different person to, anything else that you want.
No, maybe go a little bit deeper on the community liaison. I mean, what they conveyed was that if the panel has a police liaison, and we were talking about Sterling, right, being a liaison between the panel and the BPD, that we should also have a community liaison to voice, I guess, the concerns of the community. Yeah, so that was kind of the request, I guess.
Again, I think they were very insistent on the need to be fully neutral, and that seems very logical to have a community liaison if we're going to have a police liaison.
Yes, Chief, let's hear him.
So on that community liaison, how is that gonna work out? Or I thought we have at the end of the public comment, that's when members of the community can come and raise issues or question anything. I just don't see how that works out. Maybe I'm missing something.
I think it's just like the police can also watch the public meetings and there's no reason why, the police would have more of a place to talk at length when the community members only have like 2 minutes. And so having someone during the meeting who can actually voice the concerns of community and then report back to different community groups would be the way it would work. Like, it's how I understood it.
Were you envisioning like a non-voting?
It would be a
Member
non-voting,
panel?
yes.
I mean, again, that's part of the conversation, like, there's.
It's not our idea, but it's something that we're
It's-
really.
Yeah, it's something that they said, like, if you have a police liaison, you should have a community liaison. I guess in my opinion, like, we are the community members, right? So
Yes.
it will be challenging to find someone else. So I guess that is something that we can, certainly, I think, conversation that we can provide space to have. I don't know if that will require. I'm not sure, I'm asking to like a change in the ordinance, or we could add a non-voting member without changing the ordinance. Which I think it.
I think the idea is that because we're training with police, because we're working with the city, because we're, to have someone that is more of a neutral or more with solely the interest of the community. And more oriented that way. But yes.
You know, as far as I know, we did not choose Sterling to be the police representative. The police chose him, right?
Yeah.
The community wants to choose something, and someone, sure that we can accomplish.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I mean, I think it's that definitely,
You certainly don't think we should be choosing.
yeah. But I don't know how the community would choose someone to be like that the communications.
Like I said, that's not our problem.
I guess I have a couple things to say. Like, we are the community liaisons, right? That's just trying to disempower our voices to say, you chose the wrong 9 people out of a city of 100,000. We are the ones that connect to our community. There's people I represent that I connect to. There's people you represent that you should connect to. We are the community liaisons. So to have someone else tell us like we're invalid, I take that very personally. So,
I don't think that was what they said.
well,
I
I'm
think
here to
we're-
represent the community and they're saying my voice, the community's not represented. Like, we're here, the door is open. Like, literally, these doors are open. We're inviting these voices in. We also have a representative of the NAACP inside the panel, which is Madeline. And so she has a voice. She could bring these issues and she's not bringing up these issues yet. So I don't understand what that reason
It's
is.
mad, I'm just the messenger here, but
And that's,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
the third issue is the message. You're meeting with these folks in a closed meeting. And so I like to hear what AB and other folks think about having these meetings where you're not invited and we get a 5-minute summary of a 60-minute conversation. That doesn't include all the voices in the panel
True.
in those conversations. So I'm
Sure.
going to see what others think about that.
I'm sorry, before we enter into that conversation, I think, just to be clear with the panel and the public, like the reasoning behind the both of us as the community engagement chairs to reach out to community was an effort of doing exactly that, community engagement. We also thought that given the fact that they're specifically the NAACP have been trying to communicate and we haven't been able to provide that space for conversation. We started with them, but we have a big list of people that we want to reach out to do the same exercise, which is basically show up and listen. This was, I guess, a more, I don't want to use the word in the wrong way, but it was a more, I was thinking charge is not charge, is a more informed meeting that we knew that there was a lot that was going to be communicated. It was challenging for us to be that the first one, of course. But the other thing is that we wanted to provide a space that wasn't public. And with more than 2 members of the panel in this meeting, we had to organize a whole like open to the public meeting. And that was the reasoning for behind us meeting as the chair of the community engagement committee to this, kind of community representatives and hear what they have to say. Of course, they do have very strong opinions because they were involved in the formation of the panel and that initial movement. And we were there to listen. And I guess that what Milan has done is really share what we heard. We haven't met after that, so we don't have an opinion form on that. I think we're just literally channeling the conversation, except for the piece that I said about the community, that was my own opinion. But that being said, I think that I want to be super clear that was the reasoning. When you have a meeting open to the public, of course, the conversation might be a little bit different, and we wanted to hear like a feedback without that kind of concern, so we could openly talk about the concern. So if that is not the way that we think we should conduct this community outreach, then we can talk about it and change that.
And I just want to add also that communities are, the communities out there have not been heard for a long, long time by this panel in a manner that is meaningful. And that's our goal here, is to go there and to really listen and to listen in a space that they feel safe about, where there's not going to be, they can talk to us frankly without having potentially, eyes that could be impact them negatively. And so the purpose of us being there and reporting back was also that it's also like announcing public meetings. I mean, I'm all for transparency, and that's what we're both trying to do right now, to be as transparent as possible. But also the fact is that we have a lot of work in this engagement committee, and we want to reach the communities that we are serving and hear from them. And I'm sorry, I've been here for a year and I haven't heard anything from them except the NAACP and their 2 minutes when they show up. And so to me, that's a concern. We are disconnected from our communities, and we need to reconnect, because otherwise, what are we here for? So that's my opinion, and I welcome feedback, and I welcome other ways of doing this, but also we don't have that many complaints about the Latinx community, for example. And it's like, I want to know why. And I want to know what is it, is it cultural? Is it fear? Is it, what is it? So that we can address it as best as we can within the constraint that we have already. So yeah, I'm open to any feedback from that.
Jason, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to say that we have positions opening up right now that people could apply for.
Oh, yeah.
And I say that not, I mean, there's opportunities to engage already. I understand that people who feel like they haven't been heard are angry and frustrated. They have right to be. But we do have a lot of opportunities to engage, and I would invite people to do that. I think it's common in any sort of group space that when you try to set up something and there are opportunities for some kind of engagement, and then somebody just comes and yells, not saying that you're not listening to me. They're like, well, we've been trying to.
Yeah.
But I take your point very well, because what I hear in the newspaper and such is that people don't trust us.
Right.
And so that means we need to.
Yeah.
But I think both sides need to hear that, or we need to hear both sides. I hope they hear both sides.
So if we could just hear from other folks, Chico or AB or Lizzie, Hadassah, there's gonna be future meetings, and are you okay with the lack of transparency where they're not public? Or,
I would like to object to the lack of transparency, I'm sorry.
well, they're public meetings or they're not, so I'm asking the panel members to speak on their opinion. So Chico and AB, are you okay with these meetings with other community partners continuing to happen in a non-public way? Or would you prefer for those meetings to be public, no matter what inconvenience it is to have a public?
All our business and all meetings should be open, should be transparency, because we don't want a situation where closed sessions and, you get to situations of he said, she said, because
Yes.
they're not open.
I agree with Chico. I'm on some other boards where I got to tell you, I was praising how POP does things. And I thought that part of what the panel was about was that transparency, that it's always open to all of us. Not three people can't get together and do something on their own. We have to include one another, and it keeps the drama away. Whereas on other boards, I know that there's a lot of backdoor stuff happening, and that keeps that so much dis-ease, if that makes sense. So even though I think this had good intentions, it does create sort of like, well, why are we just hearing about this? Even though there were good intentions.
I'm curious, did the community partners request a meeting where they would be able to speak freely, or were we?
We reached
referring
out to
they
them,
might want to?
and yes, we reached out to them.
But like, did they say, I want to talk to you, but I feel like I can't speak freely if we're at a public meeting, or was that sort of we supposed? I'm just curious, was that on request?
It was not a direct request from them, but what we've noticed is that there's nobody from certain members of our communities who are ever making comments here. And reaching out to them privately was in order to give, to listen to them without putting them in front of cameras and other people if they didn't feel comfortable to do that. Part of it also is that I think we mentioned that we were doing that with the panel. It seems to me, didn't we say that we were doing that?
I remember hearing that there was an intention to do so with groups, but there wasn't any clarification of who and when, and there wasn't an option for panel members to join. They would
Right.
like to.
Well, I think it's because the last meeting that we had with the engagement committee was just the two of us. So we and Sharon.
Yeah, but the point of the committees
No, I
that we
understand.
have is to go and do the work and then come back to the panel and say, this is what we would like to do. It's not to do any work on their own. We don't do anything on the governance committee or legacy committee without first checking with the panel, making sure that the panel is on board, can participate if they'd like to, is, informed, can share that information. Like, all of those things are important for transparency and for making sure that we're working as a team and as a group, because
Okay.
we were voted to represent the community, and the point of the community, representation and having it be multicultural and diverse in the way that we have it is exactly.
I guess that, there has been some communications lately that didn't go through the panel that were made to, official communications that were made that didn't go through the panel. So how is that different?
Which,
Let me see my email. There's a communication, there was a communication to a journalist after our last meeting. There's a communication to, Nuria, about how we need to be involved with the chief of police search. I didn't see that before it was an official ask.
It was an official ask from the individual and informed for the panel, from my understanding. We can always communicate individually. And in terms of journalism and press, currently it's in the bylaws that the co-chairs are the directors of that. And so if it's just, and if it's in general, if it's just like answering a question of how does this work, or how does whatever, or what's the history of those kinds of things.
But what if we disagree with what is being?
With history and with facts and with the bylaws and the ordinance and with the writ.
I think let me look to look. It seems to me that the answer to the journalist, really,
I mean, there was a request from Amber about, is there any contention? And I said no, and she asked about some historical reference, and we didn't have the archives up. And then
yeah, there is.
after a week later, the archives are up, and then I said, you can find the context behind that response with the archive. Is that the one you're referring to, or?
It was something that about, whether we were involved, what was, the question was about, I'm not finding it right now, I'm sorry. It was about, whether the, being involved in the search for a new chief was under the purview of the panel or not, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and they received two requests. One that did not include the panel at all, which is someone asking by themselves. And then I made
Yeah, that was
an
me.
official request.
By the way,
So,
that was me, because I was under the impression that this panel was not wanting to be involved with the search
well, that's
officially.
why we have these meetings to clear up the air. So I
Okay.
hope that's apparent now that.
Before we move on, I think that there's a couple of things that happened here. We had a community engagement meeting and we talked about it. We talked about what we were doing, and we didn't hear anything on the contrary. I think we talked about it, and I think none of us saw a problem with us reaching out to the community. I think that we only have a year, 12 months in the calendar year. And if every time we think about doing something, we have to wait for a month to bring it back for approval to meet with community or to set up a conversation with someone, that's going to slow us down quite a bit. And I have been here already for a year. And the other thing is that clearly, the approach of being here waiting for people to come and show up and talk to us is not working. So that's why we decided to take a proactive step and go ourselves out to the community and ask the questions that at least I am interested in hearing. So if what I'm hearing is that I can do that alone as an individual, then I will do that. And if that is a problem that two people will do that, as we did in the capacity of community engagement chairs, and if that is taken in the wrong way, I think we can do that on our own. But I think for me, at least, it's time that I hear and learn what the heck is happening. And as we're sitting here, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen one complaint coming from communities other than what we have seen in the last year cases. So I'm not, if I'm gonna get in trouble for trying to reach out and understand what is happening, then this is not the right place for me to be representing anyone. Because I'm not representing and I'm not listening, I'm not hearing anyone, and I need to be out doing that.
I have a question, because what you're saying makes total sense. How are you supposed to do this engagement if you always have to bring a meeting? So what is the compromise here where you can do this work that you're doing, which is valuable, and you're out there, you're in the field. How can that be done in a panel type way? Because she's right. We can't be everywhere. She can't call a meeting every time she's going to be involved with someone, but you can maybe reach out and say, does anyone else want to do this with me? or something. I don't know, which I think that you have done now that I've listened to you.
Maybe, and this happened in our last meeting where, and I'm sure we have notes or recording, I don't know. But we talked about it, and actually, one of the things that we talked, and I don't wanna lie, so it was probably in the 4 of us meeting or, in a prep meeting that, Milan and I had a Sunday morning, that we said, like, we don't wanna be at every meeting, we wanna be able to say, okay, Milan and AB are meeting with, you know, X group, and we can step out, but we need to reach out. And I think at this point, I'm changing the word outreach for reaching out, because outreach community is not working. Or the way that we're doing things is not working, haven't worked for the last 2 years. So, and I thank you for that. I think for what you said, AB, that's what we're trying to do.
And I think maybe one way we could compromise on that is to make sure that everybody participates in one of those events, so that we can all see how we work to get, how we work and how we listen to community and reach out and then report back to the panel. And I'm in this group trusting every one of you to do the best for our communities and to represent us in a professional manner out there. And I'm hoping to have the same trust from all of you. But if it's not the case, then I need to know, because then I need to change something. But I'm also really feeling the need, like this panel is operating in a fishbowl. Really, we can see this community out there, but we don't know what they're saying to us because we're not hearing them, and they refuse to get in the fishbowl with us for some reasons that we need to figure out. And so, yeah, I would invite all of you to say, hey, I can do it this month, or I can do it in 2 weeks, because we want to be very proactive, and really figure out, how can we serve better?
And I think this community outreach is different than the panel bylaws. Now that I'm listening, I'm hearing something different. So I think this is different than the panel bylaws of when panelists get together, when we put notes out and everything else. This is outreach that you bring back to us. So I do understand what you're saying, and we can't handcuff you, because then it makes it hard for you to go out there and do the work that you're doing. And I love that. And from what I've heard in other meetings, we are invited to show up.
Mhm.
We are invited to show up and participate. So
we have 2 hands up.
You go ahead, Chico. I'll go next.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but sometimes our hands are tied with the open records and the open meetings laws. So whatever you want to do, always remember that.
what does that mean, Chico? I'm sorry, because I'm new. What does that mean?
You got to remember, Cora, the open records and open meetings laws. We are acting in a public capacity. We're public officials, in short. So sometimes we want to do things that we can't do things outside the bounds of what the law entails or demands of us. So let's just be careful to tread carefully on how we proceed.
Well, I was just gonna say, I sort of feel like maybe what we're talking about now and where we started are 2 slightly different things. And I also want to say first, I'm sure you guys are feeling kind of fouled on right now. I'm not upset. I don't think you guys did anything wrong or negative. Anything is a difference of opinion and a difference of thought about the best way to handle an issue, right? Like, I think we're learning about preferences of the panel and how we want things to go, right? But what I'm hearing from you guys now is you want to be able to do outreach, and like, absolutely, we should all be doing that all the time, especially as the committee. If that is your area, you guys are putting extra time into it, like, absolutely. I think, and please correct me, but the original objection was not to doing the outreach. It was just sort of I think the idea of having a private meeting is probably new. Like, I don't know if we've done that on the panel yet. So that was maybe a special case. And again, I might not have thought to do this. I understand why you guys did it. But maybe in that case, we could have said, hey, guys, we like the idea of having a non-public meeting with just two of us to allow people to speak freely. How does the panel feel about that? And folks might have had great objections to that, and then we could talk about it. Like, I think the issue was not the outreach, it was the feeling that something happened that folks didn't know about, and that didn't feel right, right, with no ill will. But like, is that the issue? Not necessarily the outreach.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a helpful distinction.
Yeah, and
But-
so if there's gonna be 5 future meetings, we can decide now, how we feel about that, so.
Right.
So I guess- yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, like, does the panel want to talk about private meetings and how we handle that and what the plan is in the future? Do we? Let
And
the
what is
panel
a
know?
private meeting, really? I mean.
A meeting that's not an Open Records Act meeting. It has two or
so
fewer
if
panel
it's
members.
two
That is
panel
on,
members.
that is on in an official capacity for the panel, which it felt like that's what this was. But maybe it
So-
wasn't to you guys, and that's maybe something different.
So under Cora, in my understanding is that when we're discussing matters, like official matters of the panel, we have to have open meetings. And and to your point, Chico, we were being careful about that and we asked that question, right? I do think we need more advice, and maybe that's a request for Erin Poe, to kind of clarify what is under Cora and what isn't. I think in this case, it was merely the intention of listening, and that's why we were not providing any opinion. I think we were very clear that we wanted to listen. We were not representing anyone because we were not saying anything officially, and maybe, yeah, that's an oversight from our part. I think the challenge and yes, we can talk about that and we can decide who goes where. We don't have anything scheduled yet. Just getting to schedule something, it takes a lot of work. In Milan, I don't know, at least 3 hours of work in different days to be able to set up a meeting. And the other piece is we want to be responsive. And when someone reaches out and you say, yeah, sure, let me wait until next meeting in a month. And I get back to you and see if we can meet in the next 2 weeks, because we have to set up everything for it to be an open meeting. So then when someone reached out, by the time that we're responding, two months went by. So I think that I guess my invitation is, as we decide a way of doing this, we need to think how can we also be responsive? In a way that matters. If I reach out to a panel like this with a concern about the police and you're telling me, okay, I'll be back to the other one. Thank you.
Well, also, I mean, our meetings aren't our only way to talk, right? Like, we can email, right? Or if there's,
Like
if folks
other.
want to be notified anytime a panel member is meeting on panel business with a member of the
Mm-hmm.
public, can we send out an email? Like, is that helpful? Is that allowed? I don't know.
I think as long as it doesn't get into the substance, I think as long as it's a more scheduling operational, that those sort of things don't violate the open meetings law. The concern is the serial meetings where an email conversation is basic, email, text, whatever the form is, where decisions are made, outside of the public meetings.
And just to be curious, what does it take to make it a public meeting? It has to be in this building, or it has to be online, or what makes it an official public meeting?
It needs to be noticed. And it needs to be available for members of the public to attend. I think those are the.
So it doesn't have to be in a city building, it could be in a coffee shop, it just has to be noticed, we're in the coffee shop. Well, how long does the notice have to be?
48 hours.
48 hours.
Yeah, I want to say it's 48 hours is what the legal notice is.
So basically, I mean, we talked also about, you know, going into communities and talking to them, giving our business cards, talking about what the panel is and all that, that would have to be a public meeting.
I think that, I mean, because there's not decisions being made, but I know that there are entities where they do make sure that it's announced, like, we will be at. I actually don't know the events in Boulder. I was just gonna say like some Chicago event. But you know, we'll be here on Saturday.
Right.
With a table or attending, whatever
Yeah.
it is. So that can be something that can be done, which might be more cautious than what you need to do to be in compliance, but would definitely, you know, create that notice of, you know,
And
when
so,
and where.
so I'm trying to understand, so if we go to an event, just as, you know, two people going to an event, right? And we start talking and talking about the panel and just giving our card and say, look, we want to hear from you and all that. Would that be in something that we would have to advertise beforehand, or can we just do that at the last minute? And what's the difference between me going out and talking to community members and listening to them and then reporting back and two of us doing that?
I think that these are all fantastic questions to ask when we get trained from people who deal with this.
Because
issue.
I know I talked to unhoused people, I talked to people with the NAACP, I talked to people with, you know, other groups around Boulder. You know, so how am I gonna be in this world, you know, trying to represent the pop and not knowing when I can speak and when I cannot speak, and not knowing when I can report back or not report back because it's a private conversation. I mean, I suppose I can always report back what I hear, but I'm not sure I fully understand why we're getting in trouble now.
I don't think you guys are in trouble.
I mean, I'm just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to understand. I would like to have a clear definition of what we need to do as the engagement committee in order to do our job.
I think part of it is just making sure you're clear that I'm only speaking for myself and I don't represent the panel. I'm a member of the panel, but I'm not speaking for the entire group. And just like you do, you know, any day of the week, which I do, I go out and talk to people and I'm Victor, I'm a member of the panel, and you know, I'm not representing the entire panel, you know, in those engagements.
And that's what we did. We didn't give any opinion, whether it was even our own.
And so I'm asking how everyone feels about that, and it looks like we have a mixed bag of opinions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to having some clarity here.
Just want to say here, and I know that I make myself vulnerable very, very often, but you say we're not in trouble, but when this question didn't come to us directly, and in a public meeting in the panel, you are asking Victor to all the panel, like, how do you feel about those two going into this? Like, I'm sorry that feels that I'm in trouble. And it might be read in a different way, but that's how I'm receiving it. And I just want to say that and be open, honest, and direct about it. Because it's the first time that we were hearing this concern. And the way that you are asking me, Victor, it sounds like that, to be honest.
Well,
You know,
this-
it's like, how does everyone else feels about what, you know,
Well,
to do with
This is
well,
the first time it's happened, that's why this is the first time we're having this. Right, because we've never had to think about this in the past, we've had community engagement committee events, we've had everything, and everyone was well aware before the fact. There was never a time when we were like, oh, by the way, we met with so-and-so on this day, you know, like that's never happened before, that's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah. And also no meetings with communities ever happened before, and we were trying to correct that.
I agree. I think that having meetings with community is exactly what we need to do. I just think that there needs to be some level of transparency.
That's, yeah,
Transparency to us or to the public?
Both, I think both.
and I felt that the report that we were giving back today was that. And you don't feel that way, so I need to have clarity on that, what is transparency when you have two people going out there talking to community? What is the level of transparency that you want for this panel? Or what does the panel, not you, I'm looking at you, but I know this panel wants for this kind of things, because it's heavy to do outreach. It's a lot of work, and if we have roadblocks along the way, then I need to know so I can do something about it.
Are there specific steps that, like, how would you maybe prefer this situation to play out? Are there specific suggestions we could talk about for like best practices we have, or how we can think about different types of events? Like, what makes this feel different than two folks going out to someone else's meeting and figuring out cards for you?
I'm just trying to bring all the voices into the conversation, so I just have to make sure that that happens. So, you know, no ill intent there, but I want to make sure every person is called on and understands to speak. So, again, I just want to decide if we can take a vote or not, or hey, continue as planned, or do people have, you know, issues with that? So,
Victor,
yes.
part of me feels that this is an area that we haven't come across before, and maybe we ask the city attorneys exactly the same questions that we're floating around, because we are not legal experts.
And that's why I also mentioned, like, March 2nd, there's going to be, you know, a training module that's going to be on Cora and Open Record Act, and that could be a great time to have a conversation with an attorney who does actually, you know, advise on these issues to other boards and commissions. So that, I mean, if there's a list of specific questions that I can in advance send to the city attorney, I can try to get some answers on that. I mean, I think in general, there's obviously tension over this issue. I think in general, though, the idea that the engagement committee is making steps to have, you know, this communication outreach to some of the different entities and communities, I think that's fantastic. That's something that that my thought very early on had been lacking from the panel. So whether this was a misstep or not, I assume people are in some ways very happy that the community engagement committee is trying to make some actual engagement. It's the process that seems that's challenging. So one of the things maybe is, you know, setting up more of a structured community engagement plan so that people can know in advance what organizations or entities or events people are at least considering attending. I mean, and certainly everyone's welcome to attend the community engagement meeting. Yes, I think it's usually the last Thursday of the month.
I think it's the first Thursday.
Or the exact opposite of what I said. So like, that's where people can also, you know, understand.
Yeah,
what's happening.
join us.
But I'm happy to forward on to, or people can ask Erin themselves if they have specific questions about the guidelines and requirements for Cora and the Open Meetings Act. Yeah, so,
Sure.
that one.
Yeah, and I just want to ask if we're gonna submit this, I don't know what exactly that this to a vote, I would love for us to consider that what we're doing requires to build trust. And if I'm inviting you to have a conversation, or I'm inviting you to tell me what you think, and by the way, this is gonna be public and everyone's gonna hear it and you're gonna be televised, I don't know if we're gonna accomplish anything.
Yeah.
And that would be my honest approach to it. And that's why these meetings were thought about in this way, so we can listen. And I'm sure that if we can get those connections, then the invitation to be participating in an open meeting and in an open space and people be showing up and kind of voicing their concerns in public will be much easier. But we don't have either or right now. And I think that for me, that part of building trust with community is crucial, and I don't know that this is helpful, to be honest. So I don't know, what is it that we should vote on?
If everyone's comfortable with future meetings being spearheaded by the communications committee and okay with the meeting in this continued manner? Or should we wait till we hear from the city attorney and just make sure that we're not getting in trouble?
And that's in 2 weeks, or more than 2 weeks, that means that we cannot do anything until then.
March 2nd isn't far off, so I would say we wait.
2 weeks.
Others?
I sent to everybody's email, I think, if I missed somebody, I apologize. A 2-page summary about the Open Meetings Act. I think as long as we're complying with that, that's what we should do.
I mean, I don't personally have any problem at all with a private meeting with community as long as it's legal. The only thing I'm trying to address is that the panel feels good about everyone being as in the loop as they would like. Does anyone object to having private meetings when appropriate and legal with community members? Like, is that a point of contention for anyone? Sort of feels like we're hopping around with what we're trying to narrow down on our positions here. Maybe we.
I don't, but awesome.
You don't have anything to say? Sorry. I'm torn, mostly just because I don't know necessarily that my opinion should carry much weight, because it is my last meeting. But I mean, I think that if we want to have, you know, and I mentioned this at our co-chairs meeting, I think that a really great way for community members to have private conversations is to be out in the community, is to go to their meetings, is to go to different events. But if we are representing the panel, I mean, the example that Sherry gave, like if we were at Boulder, what is it, the fair that's always on May Memorial Day or whatever, that one.
Boulder Creek Festival.
Yes, thank you, Boulder Creek Festival, or something like that, where we're wearing name badges and we're saying we're here representing the panel, then I think that that's important to have everybody be able to participate in. And so I think the only thing that felt sticky about this particular one is it seemed like it was specifically we're going to talk to you as the panel. And so
We're gonna listen to you.
and that, again, that's great. But I think it is something that maybe more people would have liked to have been involved in or have, you know, because it is important for us to hear those voices. And I would like for it to feel like we all have the opportunity to listen. And it wasn't just a filtered down what some people heard or didn't hear, or what we were able to capture in our notes, or, you know, like I would like for it to be complete in terms of making sure that we're not missing anything if we want to be there to listen to the community.
And what if that decision is made during one of our official meetings and nobody else is there? Right, so
Yeah,
how do we do that? Like, we all busy and we all are here sometimes and not other times, and
right.
and so, you know, that's basically what happened. And so,
Yeah.
I'm a little confused about your meeting and who was there? Are you talking to an organized group? Or are you just talking to people that showed up?
So we talked to an organizer in that case.
Okay, so it seems fair that if either one of you or the two of you talk to an organized group and listen, that you bring that to the big group and tell the organized group, we might be interested in meeting with you as a fuller panel later.
Right.
Are you interested? And then we solve your concern.
Mhm.
But I think you're right. We want to hear them when they're ready to talk as soon as possible. And we can always set another. But let's get the first communication done now.
Let's start building relationship.
And it's my understanding is as long as it's two or fewer, then it's already compliant with the law. Which is, that's a sort of a non-scheduled meeting for them where it just happens organically or somewhat. And then if they're gonna do a more scheduled meeting, then we give notice and more people.
And we also welcome anybody of this member of this group to participate, to those meetings or to go to the next one. Like, I don't have to be in all of them, right? If there are other people of the panel who want to do this kind of thing, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my question is, how are we, like, is it just gonna be at your guys' community engagement meetings? Because it sounds like that's when this one was, right? It was the last communication. No, so it wasn't on the calendar. It wasn't,
The meeting with the NAACP
Yes,
was
yes.
not at our last engagement meeting.
okay,
No, it was, we decided to do it then, but then we had to figure it out with them.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I think just like this is when the meeting is really.
But that also brings an opportunity, and we did the same thing with the legacy committee, which is, we wanted to hear from, Daniel and from the police department, the data analyst. And then everyone was informed that was going to happen. So inviting people to like share concerns at the community engagement meeting, then that's already, going to be noticed. It's already going to be a public meeting. So like piggybacking some of those things onto an already scheduled meeting is something we could do, or inviting, an entity or persons or people.
But
to-
again, if we do it in a public meeting, then we are
Yeah.
not, the trust might not be there to be open to that.
Right, I know, and it's a
Yeah,
balance.
I know.
I'm just saying that was for the legacy committee, that's. Instead of trying to schedule a time with the data analyst and then invite people, it was just, oh, how about we invite him to this already scheduled noticed. Public meeting so that anyone who wants to attend can. Just as one option.
Yeah, and maybe for the further meetings, that would be a good way to do it.
And do you want to? It is 7:00.
I just wanted to add one thing. So for the committee meetings, they don't get recorded. And then if you've noticed that the public members don't get like promoted as a panelist, so they get to stay anonymous, like their picture, you only get to realistically hear their voice. So that's just something that you could keep in mind for privacy issues and such like that. Yeah.
So they would have to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So are we going to take a 10-minute bio break? Concerns, I agree.
I don't know, do we have time? 5 minutes?
5 minutes?
If anyone needs
Okay.
it.
We'll take a 5-minute break.
Yeah. Come back.
Okay.
All right, thanks, everyone. So we'll continue our committee updates with legacy.
All right. The Legacy Committee met with Dr. Reinhardt on the 25th of last month. He's the data guru for the BPD, and essentially we had him, or he told us what he does And he gave a bit of color or details in terms of the data that he provided. The data that was provided was on the juvenile interactions with the EPD, and we just wanted to find out or get more details regarding that. So the next step is that the committee, the legacy committee, will be passing out this data, so that maybe we can have some more refined questions or asks in terms of what we want to do. There are other areas as well that are being explored, but this is a good start. So the next meeting will be on February 22nd. So there was Jason, Madeline, Liz. So I'll let the others say something if they want to do or add something.
Yeah, I think it was a great meeting. We learned a lot from Dr. Reinhardt. He was open about like, what is he already analyzing? What does he look at? What data sets does he have? What could we possibly have access to help with some of the questions that we were talking through? But we also just had lots of ideas and lots of things we were thinking about. So our next step is to kind of design like a rough work plan for the next few months of like, what are the few topics or maybe one topic that we really want to dig in on? And that should be like a full panel, discussion if you guys want it to be. So I think Chico is the next meeting, is that when we'll probably talk about that and try to sort of narrow down on the first topic.
Yes. Hopefully by then all of us would have had an in-depth look at what was provided, so that our meeting on the 22nd then be fruitful. Then from there we can bring it back to the full panel and say, this is what we're thinking.
Okay, so Collins, just like let us know if you have ideas or thoughts before then or from the meeting, and we'll talk it through and come up with some ideas.
The juvenile data is in the legacy meeting folder, so general legacy and the juvenile data is there. So if you guys want to take a look, have any specific questions that we want to, because again, it was just like we got this data dump and we're not quite sure which questions we want to ask. And so figuring out which questions we'd like to ask will help us, just kind of narrow it down and help him also provide the data and everything we want to know. So, yeah.
This was just juvenile data that you were talking about, or were you talking about data in general? Like if we have questions about.
So the data, what was provided was on juvenile interactions, but when Daniel got to talking about what he does, we discovered that there are other things that we can, with the right questions, that we can ask for or request, and hopefully can have the data that we want to tell stories.
Okay.
There's a lot that he does, so we just need to go in with the right ask.
Okay, so I'll send the questions about data that the NAACP shared with us.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
All right. Thank you.
For governance, Madeline and I met. We are going to have our next meeting next Wednesday, so the 21st. And we'll be going over, we're meeting with Farah. Farah's gonna be coming to that meeting, and so she can kind of speak to the specific recommendations that she has based on the ordinance change and what discrepancies we saw or things we might need to update. So that'll be an informational meeting. Additionally, this will be, since it is my last month, Madeline is going to be on the governance committee by herself. So she needs some help. She can't do it alone. So we need somebody to volunteer for governance. We have, I think, do we have anybody who's not on a panel or on a committee just yet?
Last, right? Just numbers last. There's only two on.
I think AB is not on a subcommittee just yet.
Okay,
Another new members in.
and we'll have new members.
Members and members.
Wait. Okay, that's right. You're right, okay. Yeah, so then you'll have more, but, just to keep that in mind that as of March, we should have somebody with her, and before the next monthly meeting, y'all will be able to discuss it again. So please jump in there with her.
Volunteers.
Yes. Cool, that's all we have for governance. Okay, so then we have elections and committee assignments, so that's you, Sherry. Right?
It is.
Not, that's not new committee, no?
Well, there will be new committee assignments.
Okay.
I think, so the election for co-chairs is going to be next month.
Mhm.
I'm gonna defer to people who have been here before to explain like how that's worked in the past and what we need to do either tonight or in the next month to prepare for the election.
Yeah, the co-chair election is an open thing that we do here, and if people are wanting to throw their hat in the ring, it'd be nice to let other people know. So just gonna open it up for that if folks are interested and want to share that, and anything you would add to that, Dasa?
So what we've done in the past is we waited until March to vote so that it has all the new panelists that are on, so they can participate in that vote, since you'll be representing them as well. And then we usually do like, anybody who's interested, we'll give like a quick little like, here's who I am for the people who don't know me, here's why I'm interested, blah, 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 here's my leadership style, whatever it is you want to share. And then we'll do a vote. And so, yeah, that's what we've done in the past.
Do folks nominate themselves? Are we able to suggest people put their hats in?
I think that, speaking from experience, it was more of a, like, if there is somebody that you think would be a really good co-chair, it never hurts to just call them and say, hey, I hope you're thinking about running. Just so that there's a little bit of a, like, they've had a chance to think about it, they've had a chance to consider, and they know why or why it's important for them. And so that's kind of what we've done in the past. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I think it's up to y'all if you all want to accept a nomination from somebody else. That's more of a maybe personal preference. But we definitely want majority people to be fine.
I have a quick question. Would it be possible to know like a little bit ahead of time who is running, just so that we can, with a little paragraph, exactly what you were talking about, Alyssa, just so that we're not like, oh, there are 5 of us who want to be, so just so that we have time to think about it and to reflect, but I don't want to pressure anybody if they want to decide at the last minute, that's okay too, and just.
Yeah, I think that is something we could inform via email, since we're not voting on it until the next meeting. To be like, I am interested in just like a
Yeah, I
CC
see
all
all,
panelists.
I don't, because then that same information would come up in the meeting.
Exactly.
Or maybe whoever is interested says that to the co-chair, and then you have a list of 4 people, for example, rather than having that one person say, I'm interested, maybe someone else would be there to do it because there's already someone there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, so anybody interested can send something to the 2 of you. And then
Maybe a poll, could we do a poll that says like, I'm interested, I'm not interested? Would we be able to see who said what? that exist?
Yeah.
And I imagine
Is there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do a
Poll,
Google
or poll where
Mhm.
other people don't see, is that what you're?
the results.
Yeah, so
Google poll would be.
I think the one that you guys did for the chief of police gives an option for anonymous.
I don't think we want it to be,
Votes.
like, I'm like,
No, we're not talking anonymous vote, we're talking.
Only the people who organize the poll should be able to see the results.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Share them with the co-chair.
Yeah, I think the one that with Microsoft does it, but not Doodle. Doodle is just dates. It's the other one that you guys did that.
Google poll, you can totally.
Okay.
optimize Google poll.
Okay.
You can see. who
Right.
did, but
Mhm.
You don't have to share.
So
the
wait,
results.
just don't use a poll tool, use a survey tool.
Survey
Yeah,
tool,
that's
okay,
Survey,
Yeah.
network.
okay,
yeah, because I think, if I'm understanding what we want, is we want people to say yes or no, I'm not interested. And then for everyone on the panel to be able to see who said yes or no.
Or just you guys to get the results, so you
Just
have a list
co-chairs?
of these 4 people, so you can tell us on the meeting, or is that?
But we're still saying that anyone who, if the spirit moves them, could just throw their hat in the ring right at election time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it more complicated. And I'm just,
I to like throw your hand up.
Yeah,
live.
yeah, exactly, just so that people can think about it, say yes, and then they're in, and we can, know who they are a little bit ahead of time.
But wouldn't all of the panel want to know who they are ahead of time?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, so then we would want it to be whoever says yes or no to be visible to everyone.
Not when they respond, like I would want to have you say, we have 4 people. Like I would like to have an official email from the co-chair saying 4 people are running and here are their names. And if they have time to write a little explanation of why they want to run, then that's great.
I think you're
I mean,
optimistic because I think in the past we had a lot of trouble getting the 2 soft spots filled.
Yeah, no one's beating down the door, so no one's willing to say, hey, I'm
I
willing
would
to do
love,
it, it's me.
I'd love it if this
So,
was happening, but I didn't think
I'm
this was gonna
hoping, I'm hoping.
It's been open for months, right? So we would know by now if there were other interests, so.
Not necessarily, and that's why we're, anyway, I'm done, sorry.
But
Do we have candidates right now? That we know?
Nothing's,
not that I've heard of.
you guys are gonna draw short straws for.
Co-chairs,
Do there have to be 2 co-chairs?
that is,
I believe that's actually important. I think it's not just politics. I mean, it doesn't say anything about short straws.
We got 32 minutes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes. I don't know how you all want to handle the, like, people throwing their hat in the ring, the co-chairs, whether there's a way.
That's
that-
something that can be done right now.
Okay, okay.
So, but it's-
Yeah, people could just add, and they did. Awesome. Mark panel meeting retreat. Next on the agenda.
That was mine.
Okay.
I guess I just kind of spoke with the community engagement committee and just told them based on the poll, majority of vote for the retreat was going to be March 9th. I believe there was 2 responses that said potentially that they wouldn't be able to go, but again, I'm gonna give that project over to community engagement just because it did come out of there. But I just thought I'd let everybody know potentially that it would be March 9th.
Will we have new panelists by then?
It's expected because new panelists would, have been informed, or the candidates have been informed that March 2nd is, the training for them to attend.
Good. Okay.
was there an afternoon or morning time that was?
Let's see.
anybody who knows how to organize a retreat, please come join the engagement committee.
Community engagement meetings is where it's gonna be had,
Yeah, we, our energy is like here to organize a great retreat. Yeah,
Let me see. I think it was 12 p.m. to 3, but let me just double check.
Was it 12 and 1?
I think,
Or 3 and 9?
Let me check.
Was it?
Yeah, 12 to 3. Yeah. That was majority of vote.
Will we have the retreat? Chico, did I hear you talking earlier?
do you want to say anything more about the retreat or just try to keep, do it, moving on? Okay. So I guess, meeting with the chief conversation, what went well, what didn't? To try to inform upon the, the next. I thought format was good. That was good. I don't think there was anything else, so. You should be back in.
I do have one piece of feedback and just make sure that when it's an invitation, we let everyone know that we're live. Because apparently that wasn't understood by everyone, so just make sure that when we schedule the meeting that we're televising and it's open to the public. So I think that was not super clear.
Are you saying that panel members didn't know that it would be televised, or?
I think, well, I didn't understood that it was going to be live. And I heard from the chief that he also didn't know that it was live at the moment.
Oh,
So just, maybe it's miscommunication, but maybe and I'm not saying just specifically with the chief, but I think that's a practice. It will be in benefit of transparency to let, kind of this meeting will be recorded. This meeting is open to the public. This is gonna be live streamed on the city channel. I don't know. This, so.
Yeah.
I think. It's feedback. I think it would have been nice to limit the answers from the chief to 5 minutes because sometimes it was quite long. And I didn't get to ask all the questions that I had. And so, I felt that that was kind of maybe a strategy, at times. And so, I think I'll be more, a little tighter with the answers that we did. We have one of them.
Well, I mean, once somebody that's, part of their job is to keep it moving.
Right.
And to make sure the chief stays on top.
I think that would be, great. It could be one of us, but it could be also someone. Yes.
I don't.
It's not a sharing role.
Obviously, I'm.
I would say for future meetings, we can't, having questions come in the last minute doesn't serve our purposes for people to know what everyone's thinking, to make sure that people have put some time in it. So for future meetings, questions need to be submitted, like there's a list of questions, submit those 48 hours in advance. And then we also have time in the meetings for just screen form questions, right? So maybe in the first hour or hour and a half, we have our list of things that people want to bring to the thing. But also we make some time at the end for, just some informal sort of ad hoc questions.
Quick question, Victor, were those questions, made public and shared with the chief or the interim chief?
They were in his hand as he walked up, so I think he got them maybe a little bit before, but
And that's why I didn't. share my questions with the panel because I didn't want the chief to see and prepare.
That's fine. It would just, and those questions would go towards the end after we go through all the previous submitted questions, and we have time for open questions. So we have a good use of our time.
Yeah, but I would want to go to a meeting with the chief of police with questions that he has had time to prepare.
That's fine. You can save your questions for
For the end,
formatted
And
time.
I don't think that's fair.
I'm curious if submitting topics will be done. Rather than a specific question. That way he can try to gather information, but he doesn't know exactly what he's talking about.
I mean, sorry, the rationale that I heard about submitting questions in advance was because there were times that questions were asked where they didn't have the appropriate person in the room and the person wasn't be able to answer questions with the specificity that people had wanted. So that I think was the motivation when we talked about it, about submitting questions in advance. So the idea of topics might really fit that balance.
Yeah, I want to go into these meetings with some sort of policy and procedure. So we have new panel members on, they know how to proceed.
Do you really have a thought about like the order? Like, do you want to reserve time at the beginning or the middle for?
I don't know, I think it was, I like the free format of us, like some questions that you ask, maybe have other questions, you know, and so I like the fact that when we are in front of the chief of police, we can ask whatever question we want and not necessarily follow a format, especially if we need to, you know, point out certain things or get some more details about other things, you know, that if you ask a question about whatever it is, that, you know, the APD, and then I don't want to go next to something else, you know, I want to continue on that, maybe into a question is inspiring me, you know, and I like how we all work together with some of the questions. So that's what I'm saying. It's sometimes for me, it's hard to have questions until I'm right in there. Also, like most of this becomes with what I'm listening to.
Is there a way to fit that within the protocol here? Like, can we have some questions? Because like, I personally love to put them in advance. 'Cause you're a better thinker and talker on your feet than I am.
I don't know.
No, you really are. You're great at it. So like maybe we have a structure, but then we also, do we encourage follow-up questions as needed, or is there a way to balance those two things?
I just want to make sure all the voices on the panel are heard. We have people online, we have people in person, and so do the folks online get a chance to get their viewpoints out and answer questions? Does everyone get 17 and a half minutes or divided by 7? And I just want to make sure everyone has their time because we all have things.
Was that an issue? Like, did anybody complain about that? Because I felt like we all had an opportunity to speak and we were paying attention to the people online. So I'm just wondering, was that really an issue? And if people didn't say anything, does that mean that they were not able to, or? I mean, I guess we can ask the people who are online, that's Chico. Because yes, if that was the case, then it's a concern for sure.
Well, I've always thought, I like the idea of having curated questions whereby you have them do some research and give you some constructive feedback. That unlike just going in there without them, if there's some vexing questions or serious questions that they need to have done research before. So I like the curated questions submitted beforehand, then an open session afterwards, and just sticking to time, because if we don't stick to time, remember public officials, they'll talk all day.
Yeah, that's why there was limiting the answers to 5 minutes. Would be good.
Yeah, time was the issue. I did have to say, hey, we need to stop this and move
Yeah.
on. It was at an hour and 12 minutes into a 2-hour session, so that's why.
Maybe something like starting with, I don't know, 5 minutes per panelist, and you can have a pre-planned question or just, you know, blank, and you can use that time, and if we can do that first, and then go to the rest, or so I think there's some way we want to sort of run time for each person, I don't know. If that's a concern.
I think
And
that
then speak a little bit more.
Jason's idea of having where we share topics to, in terms of externally, but I think internally sharing the question would be really beneficial, just so that we make sure that if we have similar questions, that they're covered in the way that will answer everybody's question.
I think that's a good compromise for me.
One thing that I mean, it was from staff point of view, it's like, hey, questions. Does anyone have questions? Does anyone have questions? I mean, I put some questions on just so I thought we would have place, that we weren't just sitting there without any questions. So if we're sending topics in advance, then those really need to be done in advance. So that, you know, we, as a panel, you know what's going on, but then also if we want the police department to have an opportunity to either, you know, prepare or invite the correct person in the room who would have that expertise. You know, they're not gonna get that at 4:45 on the day of the meeting. So that's just my suggestion.
Are we gonna have a meeting with the chief in the next 2 months?
I think it's March 31st.
Yeah, let me,
Are you suggesting?
Finish talking about this next month.
That sounds like a great idea. Or, sorry.
Yep.
Okay, and this is.
so I think I sent out a poll for the next meeting, which would be the Q1 interim chief of police meeting. And I proposed 2 dates, just because the meeting that I had in the schedule, I believe that would be spring break for Boulder Valley. But I did send a poll, and then I realized that one of the other dates is actually, I believe, a governance meeting that I had already scheduled. So, I mean,
The March.
yeah, yeah. So, I think we're looking at, so I think we're looking at March 18th or March 20th. But March 20th would be the governance March meeting, so maybe March 18th. Okay.
At the next one and see if we do want to change just that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
This quickly, the Lieutenant Police Monitors report. We completed, 1 full case file review, and that review is completed and still pending the police department disposition. And there are 2 current cases that are awaiting panel review. Those cases are not completed being investigated, so they're not going to be scheduled anytime soon. At least that's my expectation. There was a single case that was completed in January by the Boulder Police Department. That is MI 2023-006. The narrative is available on the screen and is also available online for people to read. That includes the ability for people who are hearing impaired to be able to listen to it. The allegations are officers 1 through 7, Rule 5, police authority and public trust, conducted a high-risk traffic stop. Rule 6, use of force, General Order 225, pointed a firearm at the suspect vehicle. The panel recommended that officers 1 through 7 were exonerated, and the department determination was that officers 1 through 7 were exonerated. People look through this in advance. Do you want me to read this aloud or? No, okay.
I would prefer it.
I
personally.
can't.
Yes.
Okay. The oversight panel recommendations, the panel recommend that the Boulder Police Department dispatch supervisor review the matter and counsel the dispatchers on the need to broadcast critical information to responding officers. And the notes from the police chief were that the dispatch officer has been, or the officer had been counseled. The panel advises the Boulder Police Department to ensure that body worn camera compliance is enforced at all levels of supervision and considered whenever Boulder Police Department supervisors review body worn camera, including during the standard review of use of force incidents or for the approval of Boulder Police Department reports. According to former Chief Harold, the officers involved had been counseled on body on camera. Another recommendation from the panel was consistent with the city of Boulder's dedication to racial equity. Boulder Police Department must work to ensure that Boulder Police Department members do not perpetuate or amplify racism when they respond. And I'm quoting directly the chief's response. I acknowledge the oversight panel's concern that the information provided by the 911 caller from the victim of the menacing was accepted non-critically. When dealing with a serious, ever-evolving call involving the report of a weapon, in this case a gun, the dispatcher must provide the most accurate information in the fastest manner possible to ensure the responding officers, the reported parties involved, and the community at large face the least amount of risk. It was only with the benefit of hindsight, which is true in many cases, that some of the information provided by the caller turned out to be inaccurate. The final recommendation from the panel was to advise the Boulder Police Department to critically review how it addresses and trains its members to respond to high-risk traffic stops. Boulder Police Department should reevaluate this practice to ensure that it is aligned not only with best practices, but also the Boulder Police Department's stated commitment to de-escalation, dignity, and respect in the sanctity of all human life. Again, the direct quote from former Chief Harold. In terms of the oversight panel recommendations to assess what they perceive as outdated high-risk traffic stop tactics, we as a department do and will continue to assess the tactics we teach to our officers. Going on to the docket of cases, the January 2024 monthly case statistics, the independent police monitor classified 4. 3 of those were identified as misconduct investigations, 1 as a serious misconduct investigation, 0 as community inquiries, and 1 was referred through the conflict facilitation process. I observed 5 interviews. I responded to 1 critical incident scene, and I deemed thorough and complete 0 investigations. And there was one case investigation that the Boulder Police Department closed. The open docket as of February 6th, 2024 is 16 cases. And I classified 4 cases. And some community.
Terry, sorry to cut you short. Could you go back to the last slide? So 16-4, so what's the status on those 12? Where are we at?
They're at different levels of review and investigation.
With no idea when this will come through?
I mean, through the process, a lot of the complaints are, after I classify them, they go back to BPD for investigation, and that is a process that I don't have much control over.
I'm just thinking aloud that 12 may be way too many outstanding. I mean, if we're not moving fast enough, then we're gonna have issues of public trust and confidence.
I think that is actually a concern that has been in my mind for the last couple of weeks as something that I need to focus some attention on, is how long cases are at various stages of investigation.
I want to say that the new ordinance has a time frame like was mentioned. But I want to. Let's look into it, so it may already be. Maybe one.
Yeah, if that's information. that we have.
I think we know what time frame was for the amount of time that you had to respond to recommendations.
There's that too, but I think that there is, I want to say we did investigations in this past building. No, no. Should I?
Well, Alex, you can get to.
Yes.
And regarding the independent police monitors community engagement, I was the guest speaker at the City of Boulder Human Relations Commission meeting. I attended multiple events hosted by the NAACP and the University of Colorado Center for African American Studies. And I met one-on-one with leaders in the Boulder area Black community. Letting people know about the recruitment for the new panel. We had 43 applicants after we extended. Lesson learned, don't do it over with your break.
Yeah.
The advisory committee selected 15 of those people to have interviews. On Saturday, we conducted 12 in-person interviews. On Sunday, we had the final 3 via Zoom. On Microsoft Teams. And then there will be a report sent to Nuria by the 23rd of February for the city manager then to decide the people who get appointed for the student slots, the one open slot that will happen, and then an alternate pool of up to 5.
Who's on the advisory committee?
Oh, okay. Do you want names?
Or just organizations or titles?
A person from Naropa, Central Amistad. Boulder Valley
School districts.
There's another. Lizzie's the panel representative. Martha Wilson is the representative as a former member, and then there is a person who was formerly unhoused as a person with lived experience, who is going to be working as I forget the term, I think peer support. Any other questions about that? Just a reminder that we're still expected to have training on March 2nd. when I finalize that agenda, I will send it out to a training schedule. I will send it out to people. And the next topic is very exciting for me. So this is something that I have been persuading the police department for the last several months and persuading Nuria, which is for the Boulder Police Department to have a portal of body worn camera for complaints. And it was about 2 weeks ago that the police department committed to doing that, and apparently they're looking into the logistics of how actually to get it done, vendors and all of that information. But I shared this with co-chairs, but it's very exciting, I think, for transparency that these body worn cameras are going to be available for the public to view in cases where there's allegations of misconduct.
Is there a time frame, like if it's under investigation, or like first time frame as to when is this going to be actually?
There's some state law that controls that.
Okay.
And there are some wrinkles that, involving when there are criminal cases ongoing, that the parties can request that either that get delayed, that it get delayed for a certain time period. So there's not a straight answer for that because there's different things that are controlled by state law. But I'm just very excited, and I hope that people on the panel are excited about this, commitment to public transparency of misconduct.
The journal have access to going on time, right? Before it gets public, or with the panel, we consider it public for that.
I'm not sure.
So you're saying that there's some laws like guide,
Yeah.
when it's given to the public, right? Would the panel be considered to would the panel be able to see those body worn camera footage for the public?
I
And
would
review
expect
them.
that would happen. I expect that the panel would be able to see body worn camera faster than.
Okay. But not any faster than the public.
I wouldn't expect so.
Okay.
But that's,
I'm just asking because I'm wondering if that would be part of our review process.
I think it could bring up questions about when we possibly having the possibility of having more information when you do vote on other committees.
Yeah.
Or maybe that informing when we do vote on whether to take this. Speaking of voting on cases. Yeah.
Awesome. So we will take a vote on all of the cases. We would need to have
Oh.
I'm sure it's fine.
So this forum is just the.
Yeah, quorum is
Majority.
present.
No, majority, that's right. Oh, that's.
Okay, so I will read out the case
Thank you.
number and the general rule that was violated or alleged alleged to be violated, with it, and then we will take a vote, and it will be based on majorities, whether or not to review that case. So we'll start with SM 2024-001. There was a question, Sherry, would you be able to clarify for us the SM?
Serious misconduct.
Okay.
Versus a misconduct investigation.
Thank you. Okay, so SM 2024-001, there is one officer involved, with 5 counts. First one is Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 405 investigative process. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 203, investigative responsibility in case assignment. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, City of Boulder litigation hold and data preservation policy. Rule 3, truthfulness. Rule 8, conduct. People a second to take a look. And we will vote, please do vote yay or nay. Votes for yay to review this case. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see you, Chico. Okay, and rules not to review this case. The votes not to review this case. 1. Okay, majority. So we'll be reviewing this case. Gary, do you want to assign people to the case right now for review or do you want to do that one?
I volunteer.
Doesn't sound like it happened. Two, so we need at least one more. Okay. Awesome. Next case, MI 2024-001. There is one sergeant involved. Wait. One sergeant and one officer, thank you. 2 officers, sorry. Okay. Sergeant 1 has 3 counts of Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 101, unbiased policing. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 2025, use of force. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 225, use of force. Officer 1 has 3 counts of Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 101, unbiased policing. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 225, use of force. And Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 225, use of force. Officer 2 has 1 allegation of Rule 5, police authority and public trust. All right, votes to yay to review this case. Okay, we have 6 yays. Votes for no. Chico is a no. We will be reviewing this case. We have volunteers to review this. So Ladal, I see your hand. Leland and Lizzie. Okay. MI 2024-002. There is 1 detective involved. Rule 1, compliance with rules and general orders. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 2023, investigative responsibilities. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 203, investigative responsibilities. And Rule 4, respect for others. Okay. All right, votes to review this case. Votes for yay, please. 2, 3, 4. Okay. And votes not to review this case. So 2 for no, this case will be reviewed. That means maybe explain. Oh, so that's okay. Okay. All right, so still majority rules, we'll be reviewing the case. Any volunteers? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
There's some people not here, so we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and. Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
As well, so we could do something. Do we know where this one is investigation, is it almost wrapped up? Finally, like, should we,
I mean, just all of those were classified.
okay, all of these, okay, okay,
Well,
yeah, I think these were the four that were, yeah, okay. So, I don't know, if not, keep an eye out on their email, if we need somebody urgent. All right, one more. MI 2024-003, one detective involved. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 203, investigative responsibilities. Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, GO 2023, investigative rules, responsibilities, sorry. Rule 3, truthfulness. Rule 4, respect for others, and Rule 8, conduct. Sorry.
This one?
Yeah, I'll be voting.
Yeah, we're just giving that just a second. Cool, yes, okay. Okay, votes for yay to review this case. 5, 6. Okay, yeah, 7. We're all unanimous. Sorry, I'm forgetting to put my hand. Yes. Okay.
I would volunteer for this.
It's all about.
You can put me in on this one too.
Yeah, Chico, Jason as well.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
I would just like to add that I inquired to the city attorney who, because this process seems weird to me, for people to vote without conversation. And she did say that she thought it would be fine for us to have these case voting on and summaries to be able to do that. But maybe do it after the meeting was closed to the public, so that people could ask some questions and maybe get some more insight. That's easier to convey than just the summarization. So that's something that I would just like to let the panel know. So if that's something that we want, we could start doing next month.
I would do that, and then I know a lot of people would help, especially for the final hours, you know.
I'm happy to hear, yeah, but, and it does seem like post meeting is better, for, because otherwise we'll lose some public comment.
Right. Yeah, like I said, you're the panel, it's your vote.
So, okay, can we make them ring then? So the next meeting we take that? Yeah. That how that goes? So. Well, yeah, I would do we vote on that, all of this?
So, it is in the bylaws. During an open session, if the quorum of the panel is present, the panel will vote on whether to move forward with a case investigation. An affirmative vote, the majority of panelists present at the meeting will result in a complaint being assigned for review by at least 3 panelists. If further discussion is needed pertaining to the deliberation or voting process that contains sensitive information, a motion will be made, seconded, and approved by the majority of the present panelists for a closed session at a future time. So mostly just to say that is currently what's in the bylaws, but they're owned by the panel, so they can be changed. Yes. Everyone's to help Madeline.
So maybe we need to move to review that in governance committee to make the corresponding change in bylaws.
Yeah, I mean, if you want this to happen sooner rather than later, could the panel also move to change that bylaw, change to get rid of that aspect of the bylaw? I don't, I'm not a parliamentary procedure wizard.
That's our news.
I
We would need to language, yeah. Just say, here's what we want to amend it to, because we don't.
want to just get rid of.
Yeah, we don't just put like word, we need the words to vote on as opposed to, because sometimes people,
Seems like a topic for next week.
yes,
It could take effect immediately.
yes.
And the governance committee talks about it, proposes new language at the next meeting, we can vote on it and then put it into effect.
Can we, so, not to be this, but governance is not even alone. So maybe we can bounce back some language via email and then come back with a proposal. And we take that into. No? Is it the meeting over email? Or is it?
I think that turns the email into a meeting.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
How about we suggest anybody that has ideas of changing the way,
Come with
bylaws, bring it with us.
Yes.
And we can talk about it when we show.
Yes. Okay, I will say, I do think that, personally, I think that it is important that it be public, because the community is putting in a complaint and it's, like, we don't want it to seem like we're making decisions behind closed doors. We want them to know, here's, stand by your vote that you made, say yes or no, this is the case that I think we should review it. I know that was definitely important to pass things. So.
Is that specific to the voting or also the discussion?
The voting
Separate
specifically.
those two.
Yeah, so potentially if we want to, then we wouldn't be voting until the next meeting,
Could
though.
we do a closed session before the public session starts to discuss and then vote during the public session?
Yeah, I think so.
Very more judicious with our time, right? We might have to-
Yes. Yeah, then you would probably need people to show up. Something like that before the meeting.
And haven't we done this in the past where we, are in the middle of our 6:30, 8:30 meeting, and we close it for
Executive session.
a few minutes and then we open it up.
I think that's possible.
I think we've done it.
How do you do that in the public though, like in the live?
We put it in the
We just,
do pause it.
I know, but like
Here.
Lynn's here, Lynn's gonna be like, can you leave please? Like.
Yeah,
That's-
if it's in person, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be, but, no, never mind.
Maybe.
I mean, I think it's important for us to be able to discuss before we vote.
Yeah.
Like there's been instances where people were voting no, or I was feeling like voting yes, and I didn't understand why they were voting no, and I would have loved it, and especially as I was new. Now I have a little bit more, but especially as we're welcoming a new, crew of, I think it would be important to be able to discuss that, so I agree either before or in the middle, if that's possible. That would be, that's a really good focus.
How about in-person meetings? We start at 6 for anyone who's able, because that's when we're meeting anyway, closed session. For virtual meetings, we do it in the middle, just pause the public.
I remember something from the city saying we couldn't do closed sessions in our meetings. Remember Aaron? bringing that up. So I can go to the list of stuff that we have to ask about.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
remember that
For
coming
the
up.
training, I'll ask them.
Well, and I don't want to default to always discussing every case. I think, tonight, we're nearly unanimous on every single one. I mean, it might be interesting to know why we do it that way, but. We might be a procedure for a panelist to say, I think we need to discuss this out, in private.
Request, maybe the discussion.
But otherwise, we get rid of it.
That's a good point.
I'm gonna add maybe just like a maybe technical, like IT sort of comment. When we take our racial equity classes, remember how they took out those breakout rooms? Is that
Yeah.
maybe something that we could maybe do with Zoom? Like I would have to look into it, but I know that maybe either Microsoft Teams or Zooms does this like breakout room where it just would break out like certain number of people, and then you put a timer on it, and then once that timer is done, then the people get taken back. Like that would maybe be for a virtual thing, but just kind of something that I've picked up on.
Yeah, that would be a good solution, because sometimes, you know, like the time when somebody voted or didn't vote, say no, and I was like, why not? That would have been a time where, yeah, I would raise my hand and say, can we discuss that? Because I don't understand this decision. And that would be great to go in a breakout room for 10 minutes and just say, okay, and then go back to voting. Discuss the private, you know, the confidential matters until we're all ready to vote.
I'm just letting the panel know that there's an option that might.
So if breakout rooms are available, then that would give us a lot more flexibility, I feel, to call it on the spot and say, hey, before we validate this vote, I would like to discuss it.
Could we maybe send you,
Sorry.
Sherry, these questions, so we can have an answer for the training? From Erin, maybe?
Oh,
There's a
yeah,
t-shirt,
sure.
so maybe this is something we can talk about in the training within
When's the next governance meeting?
I just want to move us forward since we're over time, and we have a member of the public here is all over time as well, so we can move on.
Next governance is the 21st. The training is the 2nd. And the next panel meeting would be the 13th. So potentially we can get answers from legal, and then at the next panel meeting, people that have language suggestions for bylaws updates can bring those to vote for updating bylaws. Implement it for next month.
Oh, how does that, the next government meeting is what day?
The 21st of this month,
And the 22nd is the legacy.
22nd is legacy.
Thank you.
Next issue.
This is public comment.
Hi, Lynn Siegel. One, I was concerned about Tally and his speeding and then pulling the gun on the person. It sounds like we might have worked on that in some of your comments here. I was opposed to Lisa swinging around being tossed, and I'm very, very, very anti-police now. I'm scared of the police wherever I go. Today, I was in the West Senior Center and 3 police came in, and I asked them, they came in for like less than a minute. And this guy that I know that works there, like, they were really mean to me. I said, I don't trust police. And they said, well, we won't even talk to you. You know, we won't tell you what we were here for. And he wouldn't tell me what they were there for. It's something internal. You know, I don't want this internal shit. I want everything out in the open. When I go up to a policeman and and provided that I'm not distracting them from really important stuff they have to do, which is usually not the case, then I want to hear from them what they're doing. What are they up to? Where's my tax dollars working for me? I want to know. You know, after this thing with my stuff taken here by mistake, I never wanted the police involved. Nuria called them because I happened to see her the first person, and they destroyed they robbed me. The police robbed me of my interaction with a city employee who took my stuff for his supervisor, so supposedly. Maybe I owed him something. I don't know. Maybe it should never have even been paid. They gave me my $360 back, and my computer case they're gonna get, but I don't know. I wanted restorative justice. I was never asked. I never had a choice for it. It was just prosecuted. And then Michael Dougherty just blew it off. And I never got to speak to Oliver, and Oliver doesn't work anymore for he quit. And then his supervisor quit. January 10th was her last day. I don't know why. I don't know if she was fired. I don't know shit. And I'm really angry with the situation as it is. It's all subterfuge. And first of all, I have to say the most important thing that you need to do is Gaza and Palestine and Israel. Because this is international human rights violations. And it trickles down and it trickles up. It's both directions. As a police panel, the best thing you can do is recommend, and I don't know your advisory capacity, but recommend to the city council to have a public hearing on Palestine and to, you know, and to make a strong statement. 500 people were in Oakland, you know, in Minneapolis,
You have about 30
they
minutes.
said defund Israel, you know, like I know a Zionist prominent in Democracy Now! That says Israel should not exist. And she was a former Zionist from the IDF. Her dad's an Air Force commander and shit. Okay, this is an impossible amount of time, 3 minutes. I think there needs to be a lot more iterative stuff like you were talking about earlier. If you have your prepared statements, it's like one monologue versus another monologue. You need to be iterative to really be progressive. And we need restorative justice in Boulder. As the first option, I never wanted to prosecute, and I was never given the choice. And community policing, which means when I talk to the police, you know, they say, oh yeah, we're pulling because this guy did, you know, and I know where my tax dollars are going. Cause I'm paying heavy. My property tax just went up $3,000. There's a lot going into all
In 3
this.
minutes.
I wanted to talk about Redfern, cause he needs to go. Yesterday.
Can I just, respond to something is that, we had a meeting with Redfern last week, or was it last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Restorative justice was brought up as a need for the police department in this, in the city.
Good, cause I talked to him last night at the hate speech thing.
So that's something that, I really believe in personally. I'm not giving the opinion of the panel, but personally, and brought it up with them. So, for what it's
That's
worth.
great.
We're not sure, I'm not sure when it's gonna happen, but.
I've been working
There's a bill
in decades.
running right now.
Yeah.
So there's a bill running for restorative justice. A bill.
Can we close the meeting? You guys have this stuff?
Yes.
Is anyone else online for public comment?
No, there's
Okay,
nobody else.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Chica.
Right, Chico.
Yeah.
You know, would your